What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Trader Hotline. How's everyone feeling tonight? Welcome, welcome, welcome. I gotta change this. We do have a giveaway, but we'll get to that later. What's up, Ryan? Margin? Bets? Cleveland? What's up, man? Aiden? Duga? John? How's it going, guys? What's up, Chef? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Trader Hotline. Let's talk about some trades. Let's talk about today. Feel free to call in. Nick's on the other line waiting for your calls. How's it going, Margin? What's up, Marvin? So the first thing I want to talk about today is the first thing I think we need to talk about today is the wild move on the market. What a crazy, I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. What a crazy day today. What a crazy day today. Oil faded the entire move. Market responded positively to that. That was definitely not what I was expecting to see today, but absolutely happened. The reclaim ripper. Once again, it was the reclaim hold that really set it all up. I'm going to go ahead and sit. the hold of the reclaim of previous day low. Get that towel out of there. Appreciate that, Jewel. What's that? I'm assuming that's Eric. What's up, Eric? Yeah, today, crazy push, oil fade. Let's go ahead and take a quick peek at it while we wait. Actually, let me make sure this is set up correctly. Let me go ahead and pull up the charts real quick for you guys. Let's go. Now you're just looking at a beautiful redwood tree right there. Let me make sure I got this correct. TOS. And let's look at that. Yeah, so today, really the main thing, the main event was really the oil fade. Gave back the entire move, which just resulted in the market sort of coming back and, not being as fearful. NASDAQ was all about that reclaim, the reclaim of this previous day low. And then after we reclaim that previous day low, after we reclaim that Friday low in that 200 SMA, just an insanity push. ES reclaiming that previous day low, that's exactly where you squeezed off of end of day. And then SPY back above that low as well, right at that 670 level. So today, pretty much walking away today, pretty much break even. Nothing for me. But I think a good idea to wait for us to get back in this previous day low and see if we could get some action there. But overall, it was just a massive comeback and right back into the channel. So what a move. Hope you guys caught a piece of that. Make sure to call in. Make sure to get your questions in. Make sure to call the number top left of the screen. If you guys have any questions, anything you want to talk about live, we'll phone you in, get you on the live stream. Tuning in from Tokyo. Wow, that's pretty cool. Rehab watchers? Yeah, we got, I guess, is it Trader Hotline? Is it Trader Rehab? I guess while we wait, take a look at these things right here. So right now, I just finished sipping some myself. Pretty sweet. Very excited about the Insider's Coffee Co. Yeah, just trade off of PDH, PDL. That's a good conversation. We can sort of talk about that. So, a lot of people make things, I think, a lot more difficult. I think a lot of traders make things a little bit more difficult, and it consistently shows that just trading off of PDL, previous day low, or PDH, previous day high, continues to be a very big opportunity. Now, sometimes you get those discrepancies, which was tough today. There was a discrepancy between the Q's PDL and the SPY PDL. So we saw the Q's reclaim it, but we saw the SPY still below it. So it was a little bit difficult for me today to take that position and be confident that I could long the Q's above the previous day low with the SPY still below it. So I was a little bit cautious of the potential trap there of the SPY rejecting while the Q's was holding. Probably could have, been a little bit more just gunslinger there, right, to just take that shot. I think if I would have been a little bit more gunslinger and just said, hey, Q's reclaimed it, I'm long, I'm taking this, it would have absolutely resulted nicely. But, sometimes we want to wait for those A pluses. That's what I've been trying to do more and more in my trading, is just really wait for those A pluses. If I can just sort of coast and just chill until those A pluses show up, less trades, more money, which continues to be the motto of this year for me. If we take a look at my TradeZella, I can actually pull up my TradeZella here for you guys to see. The amount of trades that I've taken this month has been super low, and I quite enjoy it. So if I go ahead and pull that up real quick, right here is my TradeZella for, this is year to date. So year to date, we're up around $11,000, which is, it's good. It's nothing crazy. And the market really, I don't think, has presented many crazy opportunities quite yet. Today was a big move, but a little bit difficult to catch, I'd say. Had a great start to the year, up around 33,000. Gave back a lot of it, as you guys saw in late February. And you can see over here with these big losses that I took. Since that drop, another really big important thing to pay attention to in trading is to stop the hemorrhaging, right? So One of the major things, and actually before we talk about this, I want to make sure I can get this clip. So what I'm going to do real quick here is I'm just going to go, so bear with me here. This is actually another great conversation we can have while Nick waits for some calls. Let's go ahead and do screen capture. Let's go here. And let's talk about, this is a really good conversation about stopping losses, or, you know, slowing down losses. And so let me go ahead and get this clipped real quick on the vertical so we can come back to this later. I'm making sure that everything is recorded for you guys so you can always come back to these. I think that's really important for us. So let me make sure I get that for you. 1 second, bear with me. Okay. So one of the major things, if you guys see here on the TradeZilla screen, and one of the major things that I talk about is if you find yourself hemorrhaging, which is like taking multiple losses over and over again, and you continue to find yourself losing money, right? One of the best things that I do is just basically cold turkey it. I mean, you just have to. You have to just stop the hemorrhaging. You have to just stop the bleeding. And so what I did basically after this debacle, is what you would call it here, of straight down losing my profits for the year, is I just said, that's it. Stop the hemorrhaging, go down in size, and just sort of flatline and try to grow back slower, right? Try to grow back slowly. Because in the midst, and that's our favorite word, in the midst of these drops, you get very emotional, you get very aggressive, you try to go V-shaped recovery with your P&L curve, and that typically leads to oversizing, that typically leads to overconfidence, that typically leads to, you know, trading off of bad habits and trading out of, you know, fear and emotion, and that just causes this decline to continue and then eventually go red on the year, right? And so I knew, hey, I gotta stop. I gotta, you know, take my ego out of my trading. Clearly I've made some mistakes, and I need to own up to those. I need to streamline or stop my bleeding, stop the hemorrhaging, and find my way back up slowly but surely. And that's really what I did, you know, what I've done so far in March. And, you know, it's not sexy. You can see I'm not really making much money over the last few days. But, hey, this has been a great, in terms of accuracy and in terms of trade quality. If we look at just March, I mean, these are incredible numbers. This P&L number may be not too big, but look what you can do when you scale down and just sort of lock back in after getting a little bit, you know, sort of slippery and a little bit too aggressive. So a 25 profit factor, an 83% win rate, a 5-to-1 average win to loss. I wish, you know, these were bigger numbers, but this is what I had to do to sort of stop that hemorrhaging. So a really good conversation about if you're losing, if you're finding yourself losing, what is the right way forward? And I would say that the right way forward is to do exactly that. So that's a good, hopefully that's helpful for some of you guys that are watching. If you guys could, make sure to press that like button. Got 142 people here. Appreciate you guys being here. Ty, yeah, saw that about your day today, Ty. Ty, you should call in. We should have a conversation about it. What app am I using to draw on my screen? It is called Demo Pro. Nick, any calls yet? Or is everyone too shy?
Yep, I'm gonna call guy right now.
All right, Nick's got someone coming on the line. Very nice. Hit that like button. Looks like we're gonna get a call here soon. Alrighty. Let me make sure this is all correct. You just have to quick one, and then you're going to leave a message. Nick's going to listen to the message. If it's a good call, he's going to shoot you. He's going to give you a call back, and then you're going to get live on the air. I love when my little things don't work. It's very annoying. All my little scripts that I have, they love to just stop working. Happens every time. I think need to work on some. All right. Okay. Let me type this real quick. Bear with me, Nick. Let me see if this works. If it doesn't work, then we're just gonna skip it. Okay, no, we got it. So we got John. John's calling in, and he's gonna ask about theta decay on options. All right, let's do it. Let me make sure hold on, Nick. Where the hell did my screen go? Nick, you're going to have to call me back in a second because I just lost my screen. Right now, John. There's a lot of Johns, is there not? All right. Yes, this will be recorded. Right. Theta decay on options. Yeah, that's a big one for a lot of people. It's the big options drawback, I would say. One of the biggest drawbacks of options. All right, hold on. We're getting a call. Hello. Hey, how's it going? Hold on one second. Let me make sure I got you on the live stream. Just bear with me 1 second. There's all right. Let's see. I think we're back live. Yep. Okay, that's good. All right. So, we're back. All right, John. So what's the question today?
Divergences to kind of confirm my entry.
Yep.
Only take 1 to 2 trades a day max. But where I'm sort of struggling is that I'll hop in, I'll have my risk, say, it breaks a certain level, retest it, that's my stop loss. But then, it might chop around and hang around before it hits my stop loss. And then what I anticipated to be a 15-20% loss turns into a 30-40% loss because of the theta decay.
Right.
And then vice versa. Let's say I hop in long and price wants to chop around before hitting my profit target. Well, now what could have been a 40-50% win is like a 15% win. Yep. So with that, I've really been considering switching over to futures and trading ES and NQ just because I don't have to worry about the Greeks messing me up. Because over my data, I tend to be right most of the time. It's just my timing and theta just making my losers bigger than my winners.
Yeah. Yeah. So, John, there is really no right way to tell you that options in those situations are the better asset to trade or the better vehicle to trade. So, your assumption of trading futures is probably just the end-all, be-all, the right answer to your question, to be honest, right? That's the honest opinion. I trade options a lot, but for those situations, if you're seeing yourself be right a lot, but the reason for your losses continue to be the chop and the data and just the contracts deteriorating over time, but your idea ends up being valid, you will absolutely benefit from just trading the ES and NQ futures. Right? I mean, that's just hands down the right answer to your question. There's no doubt about it. The only way to battle that with options would be to maybe take a different expiration, right? Maybe you don't take a 0. Maybe you take 2 days out, 3 days out. Maybe on Monday you trade Fridays. So you take Fridays pretty much every day of the week. You're always trading Friday expiration to battle that, because those are not going to be as affected as, let's say, a SPY 0 DTE. Now, there's nothing more sexy than catching a move with 0 DTE SPY, right? That's just, that's just what we love, right? If you could see that stock move in your favor with zeros and go up 40, 50% in 10 minutes, that's what we're all chasing. That's what we all love. That's why we're all here. It's beautiful, but there's a lot of downside, right, to it. And to know it and to be cognizant of it and to change what you're trading, to battle it, I don't think it's a terrible idea. So if your situation, everyone's situation is sort of different, but if your situation is, I'm always right, maybe not always, but I'm majority right, but the chop is killing my contracts, there's really 2 ways. You have to either go out to a further expiration to battle it a little bit, right, and to have more time to let things play out and not have sort of a ticking time bomb on your hands, or you switch over to trading some futures. I mean, that's really the right answer, because even today, I guess not so much today, but on certain days, you'll just sit at that level, and then maybe end of day, you finally get the fade, and the contracts just don't even appreciate because it's been so long sitting at that level. So that would be my best answer to you. Have you tried to trade futures yet? Have you thought about it? Have you dabbled with it at all? Have you maybe tried out some prop firms, or just haven't gotten to that yet?
No, I actually was thinking about making the jump next month after I kind of get this month's data, because a part of me was thinking that maybe my problem was just the action we had in February. I mean, it
definitely
January,
not helping.
I was profitable. Yeah, and then February's action would just took all my profits and some from January. Yeah. So that's kind of why I've been considering making that switch. I was thinking about making the jump. However, a part of me feel like I'm quitting on options and trying, ES, and maybe that's just some personal baggage that I'm working out.
I mean, don't feel like I wouldn't feel like you're quitting on something, man. That's, don't feel like one way or the other is like, it's not like, I think a lot of people feel like if you trade options, you got to keep trading options and you can't trade both, or you can't understand or learn the other. It's such like a cult like mentality that is so stupid, because it's just another trading vehicle. So it's the same, the same concepts, the same things apply, the key levels, the price action. And if you can avoid, if that's just your sort of trading style where you like to maintain a position and you don't want to get chopped alive and you still want to maintain a position, then, maybe futures fits your trading style, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, there's simply just nothing wrong with that. So I would definitely not feel that way. Now, like you said, the price action in February absolutely did not help. The overall market going sideways is definitely not ideal for options trading. So it's been extremely difficult, especially when you don't get those big moves intraday. But, when you see a nice trend, maybe you say, hey, I'm going to trade futures priority. I'm going to trade futures, but if I start to see a nice trend or I see a nice opportunity show up, maybe I'll go ahead and jump on some options as well. Today, nothing outperformed options today. Simply nothing. If you took longs this morning and had the ability to hold out today, I mean, there's just simply nothing that outperformed an options contract today. So maybe you go priority futures, but if you start to see a nice trend develop and you're interested in maybe taking advantage, I've seen plenty of traders trade both and sort of take advantage of both. So I would not feel like you are bailing on something just because, there's definitely some downfalls of options. So,
Yeah, you took the thoughts right out of my head. I mean, that's everything that I was kind of thinking. I just, I needed somebody of your experience and know how to hear it out loud and confirm that. So I really appreciate everything you're doing. Thanks for this new series you have. I love it.
Yeah, appreciate that. I would say, last thing I'd say is try out some prop firms to start. and try prop firm, pay a small amount of money, just feel it out. That's a great way to start. It's basically paper trading, but with you actually have a little bit of money on the line. So I think it's a great way to transition to it. And then once you get a feel for it, transition out, and get back into your live account. I think that's a great way to sort of slowly, smoothly move into it. And make sure you trade micros. Don't trade minis, because you're gonna quickly find out how aggressive those are.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I know the difference.
Yeah. All right, John. Appreciate that, man. Hopefully this helped.
Yeah, it sure did. Thanks.
All right, John.
Thanks,
have a great night.
You too.
All right. Yeah, I mean, there is absolutely a situation for a lot of people where, let's go ahead and do this. Let's go now discussing. Let's go options versus futures. Let's push that live. Yeah, I mean, I just think there's absolutely a situation where futures are advantageous in certain scenarios. I've seen plenty of trades go to nothing and just, really a great idea result in no profits because of maybe an hour of sideways chop, or you get the move and then it bounces right back up, and then you get the move again, and by the time you're back down, it's down 20% from where it originally was. So I think there's absolutely an opportunity where futures are becoming better, a better vehicle to trade for some people, so they can avoid some of that chop that is just so frustrating, that data decay that's really frustrating. Happened to catch AMD late Friday move into the gap. Nice. Yeah, I mean, when you catch it right, and that's really what options are, right? You sort of have to catch it right. You got to catch it pretty much right away. And the timing is super important. So if you can time an options trade right, again, there's nothing better. But if you're a little bit more of a patient trader that likes to maintain a position, that likes to see something out and, let a position trade, then there's definitely room for that in your trading. Yeah, taxes on futures a little bit different. You get taxed at, part of it's taxed at long-term capital gains, which is a little bit better than short-term. So, yeah, definitely a little bit advantageous. So with SPX is the same, though. SPX and futures are, I believe, taxed the same. Now, I'm not a tax advisor, but I'm pretty positive that is the truth there. What's up, Henry? What's up, Barrage? How you doing, man? How's everyone doing? Welcome back, guys. Appreciate you being here. Make sure to press that like button. How we doing, Nick? Any more calls tonight? All right. Oh, we got Ty. All right. Let's go ahead and okay, so hold on. Let me type that in. All right. So we got Ty coming in. Go ahead, Nick. Let's do it. Yeah, you just call in. Call the number on the top. Leave a message. And Nick's going to screen the calls, and if it's a great question and a good conversation, we're going to bring you on live. My man, Ty, how we doing?
Hey, what's up, Desi? How you doing, man?
Good. How you holding up today?
I'm good, honestly. I mean, the number is big, big loss.
Yep.
I felt pretty good. March was, started out pretty good. But man, I just, kept adding in. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what, I got bailed out a couple of times earlier this month, probably like two different days. And, I think if I would have just stayed at my normal position size, I would have been fine. But man, that grind just killed me.
Yeah. So I have a great conversation. I have a great thing to talk about on this. I mean, it's already in my head. So, okay. So when we get, let me actually, hold on. Let me change the topic here. Is getting bailed out a good thing? So let me go ahead and Let me go ahead and push
Exactly.
that live for the stream. So there are situations on the market and when you trade that you get bailed out, right? You're down big. You take the next trade. Maybe you over leverage a little bit. You end up nailing it and you end the day green. So you go from feeling like shit to then feeling like you're on the top of the world because you just went from down, let's say $10,000. Like even today, let's say you are down 10K and you ended the day break even. You feel great. You feel like there's nothing wrong. You feel like you're ready for the next day, right? Bam, I'm break even, done for the day. Tomorrow's a new day. Now, the thing that you need to be very cognizant of is what decisions you made and what systems and discipline you broke that day that got you back to that break even, right? And how that sort of leaves behind like sort of cracks in the foundation. So every time that happens, you basically add a crack in your foundation, and eventually those cracks could really sort of mess up your trading, right? And so I'm happy you've gotten bailed out in the past, but today is an example of where that bailout is just not there for you anymore. And you sort of have to realize that loss after getting bailed out so many times. And I've been through that countless times where I'd be down huge. I'd get back to green. I would then go to the next day. Maybe I'd go on a couple days of good trading. Then that same situation shows up again. Down huge. I get bailed out. But eventually that day comes around where you don't get bailed out. And you're like, oh, shit. Right? And that's sort of your day today. So make sure you pay attention to that. Right? In terms of your trading today, I was on the same mindset as you today. We had the same mindset. It was fade the pop into previous day low, look for that to be a sort of dead cat bounce. The market was weak, but we knew we weren't going to short the open, but we knew that we could look for a higher level to potentially reshort into. That was the thesis, and that's a valid thesis. I mean, it's not like we're idiots for thinking that today. Now, of course, the Timmies and Jimmies online will tell us we're idiots, but that is a fabulous and very common thing to look for, and we've seen it 1,000 times. But the difference between, let's say, my day today and your day today is I gave up on it. And there was an invalidation that I knew, okay, if this thing does not reject this previous day low and this thing gets back above it, that idea is thrown in the garbage, and it needs to be thrown in the garbage because it's just no longer a valid thesis. So I would try, moving forward to have that spot that you can say, all right, I'm still okay if this is still valid. But if this, let's say X level, whatever it is, if it gets back above that level, I need to stop. And I need to be able to step away. Now, it's easier said than done, but that's the only way you're going to be able to stop is if you have something in your mind that's telling you, this is it. This is the end all be all. It can't get above this. If it does, you need to then remember past experiences. You need to remember, okay, I know how this day ends, right? I know how this day ends. This day ends exactly like it ended the other days where I wouldn't stop. I kept going, and I ended the day red on a big red. And you can sort of already foresee. It's sort of like foreshadowing how when those big red days come, at some point during your day, you probably said to yourself, I know exactly how this shit ends, and I need to be able to stop it like right now, or it's going to end the same way it did every other time.
And you know what? I got bailed out, actually. I was probably down about 2,500 and a ton of contracts, like way more than I should have been. And, any other day, I'm like, man, this probably would just continue. And I should just hold it. And I don't know why, but, I guess ego got into it. I didn't want to admit that I was wrong.
Yep.
And it screwed me. So.
Were you adding even after you got above the previous day lows?
Yeah, I was, because I think I had a level above that. I don't have my charts up right now on SPX. And because I normally only take about a 10%, and then when it dropped down to about half, I added in again, so that's 15. Then I think I doubled down again. So man, it just got worse and worse.
So you're trading the martingale strategy today.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, once you sort of defended, once I saw us sort of defend this this gap down low and sort of just start to stay above sort of this area here, once you got that squeeze over previous day low, it gave you a little bit of a chance of looking like, okay, here we go again.
Yeah.
But man, it was just one of those days that I think we all knew that it wasn't going to give it to us. We all knew that it just wasn't going to fade, and even whenever it did move lower, we knew it was going to get popped back up. And those are some dangerous
you know what
days,
I said?
man.
Yeah, I said, I bet at 3:30 might give it to us, and I said to myself, what if instead of the drop that we've been getting at 3:30, we get a huge pop? And man, that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, 3:15 just straight up.
Yeah.
Did you get stuck in that?
I did get stuck in that, man. It was because you know what? If I would have just had my normal position size, I would have been fine. It would have been, recoverable day, maybe 2 days or something like that. But I'm just gonna, like you said in the Discord, just kind of, pull myself back and just stay disciplined. And
yeah, I mean, you gotta go ahead. Yeah, I know it's tough, man, and we've all been there. Trust me, everyone in the chat's been there.
Yeah.
The only way forward is to, like I did, stop the hemorrhaging, which you really haven't been hemorrhaging, right? It's just like a one-time ugly loss.
Yeah.
And so I think it's a good maybe day off, mentally reset.
And I think it's like you said with John, like, like I'm tend to be right a good bit. Like I have a 93%, win percentage or whatever, but the thing is when I'm wrong, man, it really kills me.
You don't give up on it.
Yeah, I don't give up on it. I don't know what to do about that ego thing. I've been, used to sticking to my rules. Like, hey, if it gets above this level, I'm out no matter what. That's it. I'm done. But today, different story.
Well, the truth of the matter is, Ty, every trader goes through this, and these are the situations that we got to learn from. And the right thing is to not go on tilt because of it. The right thing is to get back to normal size or maybe even decrease size. You're not going to be able to make that money back tomorrow. If you do make that money back tomorrow, you made another degenerate move that's going to end up hurting you long term. And
you're right. Another crack in the foundation.
Yeah, another crack, another over leveraged, another maybe you get bailed out tomorrow because you took $10,000, $30,000 position size, but that's not going to be great. Long term, you're going to sort of instill those bad habits. So I know it's not sexy, but slow and steady moving forward. Take it. You're going to forget about it. Trust me. The day hurts. The same day that it happens, it stings like a bitch. And, usually you don't stop thinking about it until maybe the next morning or maybe even 2 days. Like, I've had plenty of days where the day that I lost, I couldn't stop thinking about it all day. And it just ruined my day. But that's today, right? This is like Ty's calling in just so you guys should give Ty some encouragement, calling in to Trader Hotline on the day of a huge loss and willing to talk about it. This is what it's all about. So, yeah, Ty, let's keep fighting, man. I know it's going to hurt a little bit, but
brother.
Tomorrow, I'd still show up, take a look, see what's going on.
Yeah, I'm going to show up. Yeah.
Just keep yourself in the ecosystem, but slow and steady wins the race, man.
That's right, brother. I appreciate it, man. Thanks for the talk. Thanks for the advice.
You got it, Ty. Have a great rest of your night.
Keep up what you're doing. I love Trader Hotline. You too, man. Thanks.
Appreciate it. Peace.
All right.
All right. Yeah, tough, You hate to see days like that, but it happens. It happens to the best of us. It happens to me. It happened to me quite often it happened to me last month where I had a few days that got a little out of control. And the biggest thing was giving up on the idea. Giving up on your idea that's just not playing out is so important. Having some kind of a spot that you're like, hey, if this thing does not fail from here, I got to just hang it up. I got to hang it up because it's just not going to play out. And even if it does, I did not approach this the right way. So, tough one there. But appreciate you calling in, Ty. such a hopeless moment and reaching out in front of a group. Yeah, I mean that's what it's all about. I'm sure Ty will be just fine. Great trader. See him all the time in the chat, making good decisions, smart decisions. But none of us are invincible. That's something you guys got to remember. The deer in headlights. Yeah. Could you talk a little bit more about pros and cons of prop firms? Yeah, let's go ahead and put that up on the. While we wait for Nick, let's go ahead and do this now. Discussing. We'll go pros. Let's go prop firms, and let's go pros and cons. So we'll make this a quick one because we probably have some people waiting for calls. But prop firms, pros and cons. Well, let's start with the pros because there are pros, and I'll be the first one to tell you that. And I'll also tell you to make sure to use code insiders. Use code insiders, and on Apex use code DESI. But the pros, I would say, would be low barrier to entry, right? Low barrier to entry. Get into the market, learn futures. Great way to get into the markets and dip your toes in if you're a new trader, right? There's pros and cons. It also depends on what kind of trader you are. Are you a new trader or are you an experienced trader? So there's different pros for me versus pros for a new trader, right? For a new trader, the pros are low barrier to entry. You get in, you don't put a lot of money in, and if you do blow up your account and you keep blowing up your account, you're not blowing up, let's say a $5,000 trading account. You're blowing up a few $100. So that's definitely a pro. Now, you have to approach it as if it's your own money. You have to approach it as if you're really trading your own money, and you can't be just YOLOing through CPI and trying to pass evaluations because, you're taking some crazy risk to just try to pass an eval and then move on to a live or a funded account. That behavior is not going to get you anywhere. But if you approach a prop like it's your own money and you trade correctly and you do well, then there's really no cons in terms of that. Now, the cons for me is the rules, okay? There's a lot of rules, and a lot of rules that are designed to technically make you a perfect trader, right? But being perfect is extremely difficult. And I can guarantee you that there are a lot of very successful traders out there, very successful, consistently profitable, consistently very good, that would break rules on prop firms. It's just like I've talked to Carmine about this. I've talked to many traders about this. There are rules on prop firms that you're designed to be perfect, but you just really cannot be perfect. Trading has some type of imperfection to it, right? You're going to have bad days. You're going to have imperfections. You're going to have mistakes. If you have those mistakes and you're not, sometimes those mistakes they're going to make you blow up your account, or they're going to make you get, the account get closed because of a breach of some kind of rule, which can really limit the way you trade or limit the potential upside that you have in certain situations. So the rules are tough. They're designed to be very tough. They're designed to make you fail so that the prop firm makes money, right? And the whole thesis behind it is, of course, if you lose, they win. I mean, that's just what it is. I don't care what you have to say about that. If you consistently make money, then that's not a great thing for them. They want you to lose. They want you to keep buying evals. They want you to keep resetting your account. So that sort of sits a little bit funky with me, but low barrier to entry, not much capital expenditure to get into the game to learn futures, definitely a pro. And I think the goal would be to move to your own account after you use a prop and you learn and you do all those good things. That would be my pros and cons. Yeah, let's go ahead and get another call, Nick. Wow, the number's incorrect at the top left. Interesting. 9998. All right, let me take that off. Are you calling me right now? You are, right? Oh, no, you're not. All right, let me go ahead and let me put the phone number on the top of the chat. I think my number actually changed. No, it's the right number. The number you call, my number that you call me with is different. Oh, it's a 0. Yeah, that number at the bottom there where it says at the very bottom, That's a 0. So it's 9990, guys. 239-372-9990. Okay. Okay. Jason. Avoiding hesitation. All right, let's do it. Jason.
Yes, I'm here.
How you doing, sir?
Good, good. How are you, sir?
Good, good. What do you got for me?
Yes, so I do have some questions about how do you overcome the, like the fear of getting onto a trade, because something that is been happening to me lately, or that has been happening to me for quite some time, is that I see a setup that I know that I've seen before, that I know that if this happens, I see this pattern happening on the book map or on the supply or demand level. If I see certain patterns or certain things, I kind of like know that I need to react and take a trade, whether it's a long or a short, but I just freeze, and I just don't really know how to overcome that. Like, I know how to detect the setups, but when it comes to executing them, it's just like I either execute late or I just miss the setup, and then I'm just like, I'm just gonna find out the next best way to get into a trade, and then whenever I get in, it's like the probabilities are already against me at that point. So I don't know, it's kind of like hindering my process. So I just want to see what your input is on that.
Yeah. So the truth there, Jason, is there's something behind the scenes that is stopping you. So you need to dig deep. So is it you're scared of losing? Is it that you have lost a lot lately or in your past? Is it that you're, sort of sitting in a situation you're trading that you really, maybe there's a bad situation, you've lost a lot of money, you don't want to lose more, you're constantly thinking about the dollar amounts. Would you say that you're in somewhat of a situation like that where you're just sort of always thinking about the dollar amounts, and you're sort of stuck, and you don't want to keep losing, or you don't want to, keep losing money, or maybe money's tight? Like, is it something like that, emotional behind the scenes? Maybe not so much in trading, but maybe in a personal life. You don't have to get too personal with me, but, is it maybe something like that could be affecting the mindset a little bit?
Well, I mean, I think it's more about like the losing part that affects me a lot, because I don't know, like, for example, like on Wednesday last week, I had come from like February where it doesn't seem like a lot, but I mean, like, it was my first month that I was profitable, right? And I was actually getting good at, identifying A+ setups and, getting into the trades. But then it got to the point where I started getting like 1 loss, 2 losses, 3 losses, and then that kind of like, I don't know, kind of messed up with my mindset a little bit. And then on Wednesday last week, so I have a rule that like I cannot lose more than $300, right? Yep. But it's easier said than done, because that day I don't know what happened to me. I was like being super emotional as fuck, and then I ended up taking like 7 trades and ended up losing like $700 in the whole day, and then I pretty much gave back all of my profits. And
so you're basically in this little situation where you've lost confidence, right? That's pretty much what it is. Your confidence is low because you're coming off some, maybe some losses. You're coming off maybe some discipline errors that you don't want to see happen again, right? That's pretty much it. So your confidence is at a low. Now, what I always say in trading, confidence is so important. It's so important because the confidence is what will make you not hesitate. Now, how do we build back confidence in our trading so that we're executing without fear, without emotion, without hesitation? The only way to build back that confidence correctly is to trade an amount of money that is irrelevant to you. So what is your normal position size right now? What is the position size that you're taking?
Well, I usually just take $150 of risk.
Okay. So
I'm just trading like one mini contract. That's
got it.
3 points of risk. That's pretty much.
You're trading a mini or a micro right now?
No, a mini.
A mini. Okay. So what I need you to do to build back that confidence is to trade micros. That's the only way. You gotta build some wins. You gotta execute with some micros, right? Maybe take one micro, maybe take two, right? Make it to where you're like, I really don't care what happens here, right? Because if you don't care and you say, hey, I like this A+ setup, looks great, I'm gonna go one micro. I'm really, maybe it sucks because you're not going to make much money, but you're also going to get back in the habit of taking those trades, right? You're going to be like, hey, great trade, super small size. It's irrelevant what happens here. I'm not going to lose much money, but I'm in the process and I'm going through the process and the steps of actually executing a trade. And then once you do that for a little bit and you're like, okay, 5 days in a row, I've executed without hesitation because I'm not scared of the size. I'm not scared of the dollar amount. Then you can get back to your mini, right? And say, okay, I've done this successfully with small size. Now I'm going to try to, take that whole thought process of fear of money, fear of losing out of my mind and get back into my normal size and try to execute back at that normal position size that you have. Because right now, Jason, you're in this period in your trading, which I go through, where you're at highs of confidence, where you're doing great, and then you go into these peaks of valleys of no confidence. And you need to build back the confidence, execute without hesitation. And the only way to execute without hesitation is to not be thinking about what could happen if you're wrong and if you lose. Because when we're losing or we're taking some losses, all we can think about is, what if I lose again? That's really going to suck, right? And so if we even think about that for a second, when we go to take a trade, if we're thinking about a past loss, when we're about to execute, it's going to make us hesitate. And we're like, okay, hold on. I don't want to lose again. If that's even going through our mind at that point, then we're already behind the ball, because we're not being able to execute at that right time. So my personal recommendation to you, Jason, which I know you don't want to hear it, but it's the truth. Get back down to a micro, get in the process over a few weeks of just executing trades without hesitation, because you're not hesitating due to size, and then try to get back to where you were. I mean, that really is the way back, because there's no simple answer. There's nothing I can tell you that's just going to make you confident tomorrow. You got to build it back.
Right. So just like put myself in a situation where it's not going to, where I'm not going to feel hurt, I guess.
Yeah, you're not going to feel hurt. You're also not going to feel great, because you're going to make $20, right? You're going to make $20, you're going to make $50 in a micro. But it's the process of removing the dollar amounts, right? You can't just be thinking about how much you're going to make or lose. You have to be in the process of executing trades. If we can execute trades without the fear of money or even thinking about money, that's when we can get sort of in a flow state of just executing and executing. That's why people are so good at paper trading, because they don't even think about the money. They're just taking paper trades, right? So you're so good at it because you're just executing. But if you can maybe, I don't want you to paper trade, because there's no reason to. Just scale down and then just get back to that size over time.
Right. Yeah, that sounds good, man, because I don't know, like, it really sucks because, on my journaling, I have my, my entries that are the actual trades that I take, and then I have another little tab that is called backtest, right? So each day I just see, like, setups that, like, I see that repeat every day, and it just really sucks to look at your entry tabs and then, like, see the shitty-ass trades that you took, and then going to the other tab and seeing, but I could have taken this one, and it was so obvious. So it's just like, it just really sucks. It just really sucks. Knowing when to take the trade,
you gotta trade. You got it. The reason why that tab that you have that's doing well is because you're not putting money on the line. So the only difference between those two thought processes is the dollar amounts. So we need to get down to a trading size that makes you try to eliminate that fear of the dollar. That's it. I mean, that's the only way to do it.
That's the only way to do it.
So hopefully that helped, Jason.
Yeah, that helps. Appreciate you.
All right, man. Have a great rest of your night, all right?
Yeah, you too. Thank you.
Bye. The fear of the dollar. The fear of the dollar. The fear of the dollar. That's what stops a lot of us, right? It's what if I lose? What if this goes against me? I don't want to take another $5,000 loss. I don't want to take another $1,000 loss. That's all I can think about. If we're in that situation that we're thinking about that, we need to, the only way to get out of that is to do exactly what I've done, which is scale down. It's not fun. It sucks. I'm not excited when I make $500. It does nothing for me. But I'd rather be doing that than to continue to lose and continue to hesitate. That's the truth. All right. We had some good calls tonight. Before we head out, I want to go ahead and let you guys know about a giveaway that we're running. Maybe let's actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and answer some. Maybe we leave like the last 5 minutes for some chat questions. I think that's a great idea. And I think what we're going to do in the future, once we can monetize this channel, is we're going to be answering some super chats. So if you guys, sort of pop in a super chat in the chat, we're going to answer those questions. Another way to monetize the stream. That's the goal, obviously. But let's go ahead and answer some chat questions. So I see a question in the chat. What about trading while working 9 to 5? All right. Let's go ahead and write that in real quick. Trading and working 9 to 5. So, trading and working 9 to 5. It's not easy. You definitely want to be around for market open, all right? That's the goal. The goal is to be around from around 9:30 to, say, 10:30. 9:30 to 11. If you can get 9:30 to 11, which I know that's 9 to 5, technically you can. But if you can get those hours, you're pretty much a full-time trader. A lot of people think that you need to be 9 to 4. You need to be around the market all day. I can't work because I need to watch the market all day. No. You got to watch the market. You got to watch the market from 8:30 to 8:30 pre-market for an hour to around 11 o'clock. That's what you need. And if you don't have that time, then we need to set up some kind of a system that allows us to not have to watch the charts every second. So that means no zero DTEs, no super short contracts, no crazy position sizes that if you are wrong over 30 seconds, you're going to lose a shitload of money. You need to slow it down, right? It's the only way. You got to slow down your trading. So 2 weeks out, minimum, maybe a month out, maybe 2 months out. Trade it as if it's an intraday trade, but trade it with a month out, right? So, hey, I'm going to enter this position. It's a month out contract. I'm going to put an alert down below this level. If I don't get that alert throughout the day when I'm working, then I'm going to understand that the position's still valid. If I get that alert, then I'll take a loss. But at least you're taking a few months out. You're decreasing the volatility, and it's a situation that, is not as hurtful. Now, I would definitely tailor your trading more towards swing trading. Now, another major thing that you have to understand if you're trading with a 9 to 5 is you need to understand market conditions. If your market conditions are choppy, like they have been in a channel, you probably don't want to be trading on a 9 to 5. You probably just want to say, hey, I'm not going to focus on trading right now because we're not trending. A trending market is definitely possible to trade with a 9 to 5, right? Because you can absolutely set up multi-day trades that are going to be trending, that have clean structure, that could continue, and clear stop losses. Now, if you're trading in the market that gets hit by a Trump news or a Trump conversation in the middle of the day like today, it's going to be really hard to manage, right? That's just how it is. So sometimes it's a matter of understanding market conditions and staying away from them, even as tempting as it might be. One of the greatest things I would say for trading 9 to 5 is to trade shares, right? Have you thought about that? Has anyone thought about the fact that you can actually trade shares? Believe it or not, right? That share thing, that common stock thing that people talk about, you can trade those, right? You don't have to trade options. Trading shares is pretty valid, right? Hey, I let's say, for example, that Palantir trade, right? Get on the weekly chart. get on the weekly chart, get on a higher time frame, stop looking at the 1 minute chart. If that's your reality where you're trading with a 9 to 5, if your reality is, hey, I can't watch this all day, let me get out on this daily chart, let me get out on this weekly chart and say, hey, I like this Palantir weekly retest. That's a pretty nice retest. This is something I might be able to set up over a few days, right? Okay, hey, I like Palantir. I'm going to buy some shares of Palantir down at this 125. I'm going to have a stop loss under 120, right? Maybe a $5 stop loss. And I'm going to look for this thing to push back higher with some shares. Okay, set up that trade on a Monday. Tuesday, nothing happens. Wednesday, it holds. Okay, still got my position. I'm still working my job. Great, right? Next 2 days, bam, bam, up $30 a share. Fantastic. And now this is what's going to be great about single stock futures. Single stock futures, I think, is going to change the game for a lot of people, including myself. I'm very excited about single stock futures. If I could take a Palantir share long here with huge leverage, like a futures contract is, let's say I can take, 5 Palantir, basically what equals like an ES mini, an ES mini, right? So let's just say 5 Palantir minis, right? If I can take a 5 Palantir mini here, and I can get, let's just say 1 Palantir mini is 100 shares, right? So I can take 500 shares of Palantir here with very little margin requirement, and 500 shares over 30 shares to $30 a share. That's big money, all right? That's big money. What is that? That's $15,000. That's big money. So the single stock futures is going to be fantastic. I can't wait. I can't wait for that. Actually, let me explain that again. I want to make sure I have this clipped. Single stock futures, I believe, are going to be fantastic. For example, right? Think about taking Palantir here at 121, 125, right? And no, I'm not going to do it again. I'll be able to put that clip together, hopefully. That's a good clip, though. Clip it. Clip it. It's all about the clips. But yeah, single stock future is going to be very good for the game, I think. Something to definitely be paying attention to. Definitely something to be looking out for. And I know for sure, I'm going to be all over it once it starts coming out. Take on covered calls, cash secured puts. I think they're fantastic if you have a little bit of a larger position, a little bit larger of a portfolio. I think a lot of people fall into the trap of getting bored with covered calls and cash secured puts. So, they'll sell a cash secured put, they'll make $10. And they're like, what the hell, man? What am I doing trading this for $10 premium? Now, when you can multiply that over, let's say you own 5,000 shares of something and you can sell 50 covered calls, then it gets pretty sexy because then it becomes free money almost, and a lot of money. Now, it's never free, right? But it's very high probabilities and very nice profit potential. When you're trading, one covered call, I like it, but you're going to get bored of it. So I think covered calls, cash secured puts is definitely a game that everyone should desire to get into when they build a portfolio. Build your portfolio and then start doing that when you build that nice juicy portfolio over time. That would be my opinion on that. Single stock futures has been announced. Yeah. Yeah, single stock futures has been announced. Can you elaborate what gave you the confidence to take the Reclaim Ripper today? Yeah, let's talk about the Reclaim Ripper real quick, and then we're going to transition slowly into Reclaim Ripper on Insider's Coffee Co. So today, the trade that brought me back in the green today, that sort of just brought me back, in general today, was right here. It was the Reclaim above previous day low. So let me go ahead and show you exactly where that was. That was right here, guys. So today, we got a really big squeeze above previous day low on the SPY right here. Let me go ahead and make sure you can see this. So hold on. So right here, right here, you got a nice squeeze over previous day low right here. You got a big push, you got a big pullback. Now right here around this area, you started to see this previous day low start to hold, right? And that is a reclaim ripper. That is a reclaim of previous day low. And you started to see that previous day low get defended. When you started to see that get defended, I got confident to say, hey, this market's been trending all day. We just reclaimed SPY PDL. I need to go ahead and flip my bias and look for this to continue to hold. And that's just what we got, right? Another reason I was confident on that was because the QQQ was holding above that previous day low as well all day. So I saw QQQ reclaim PDL. I saw SPY reclaim PDL, pull back and hold it, and that gave me a nice move to the upside. So that was just a clean reclaim ripper trade. Just a really good reclaim ripper type of setup. And that, my friends, is right here. That is the reclaim ripper. Beautiful. Look at that bag. The reclaim ripper. The dark roast. The espresso blend. That is going to fuel your trading days in the future here. Reclaim ripper. Liquid levels. And I think the best bag design out there is the rally roast. Look at that beauty. Rise before the bell. Very beautiful. Shout out Amped for these designs. Been drinking it every day. Now, we're going to see if that directly correlates to better profits. All right, guys. That's going to be it for tonight's episode of Trader Hotline. I appreciate you guys being here. 200 people watching live. What'd you say? Yeah, we appreciate everyone that called in. There was a lot of calls, Nick. Wow, 12 to 15 calls. Okay. Yeah, we appreciate you guys calling in. We'll try to work on a way to get more calls in. I got to stop yapping and just maybe take calls more often. And maybe, hey, another thing, guys, make sure if you called in today, when we start the stream right around 7:30 or 7 o'clock, you can call in before the stream starts. So call in before the stream starts on Mondays, and, we'll have them in a storage just looking at them. So if you want to, get on early. If we have calls, because we didn't really have calls before the stream started today, so we had a little bit of a late start. So make sure to get those calls in early. You can call before 8 o'clock, and then we'll get to you. Appreciate you guys calling. Thanks for being a part of this. Ty, appreciate it. Jason, John. What do we have? We had Jason, John, and Ty today. Am I missing someone, Nick? 3 calls? That was it. 3 calls today. We'll try to get in. I'm trying to get in like 3 to 5 calls on each stream. Make sure to check out Insiders Coffee Co. Make sure to put your name on the list. I'm going to go ahead and put that down in the description. And before we go, I want to make sure to let you guys know about our giveaway. So we're doing a giveaway. Let me go ahead and get you guys the link to that. We're doing a giveaway on Insiders Coffee Go Instagram. Let me go ahead and get you that link. Hold on. If I can find it. And we're giving away 30 days free to the Insiders trading community. 30-day trial. And a free bag of coffee when we launch. 30 days free and a free bag of coffee when we launch. Let me go ahead and get... Yeah, and we're going to be giving that away to 5 separate people. So make sure to go here. I'm going to get you guys the link. Copy link. Free beans and free trading. So right there in the chat, I'm going to spam it. Go to that in the chat. Read the directions. Enter the giveaway. And I'm going to be announcing the winners on Friday on my social media. On that page. So make sure to follow. Right here. I'll show you. Right here. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed today's session of Trader Hotline. Hope you learned something. Thanks to all the callers. Thanks for being open and transparent about your trading. That's what this is all about. And I will see you guys next Monday. Make sure to tag me. Tag Trader Hotline if you're watching. Take a picture of your screen. Tag Trader Hotline. I'll make sure to repost it all. All right, guys. Have a great night. Appreciate you being here. Peace and love.